that don't have a deeper level of knowledge. That He gave us that, so that we don't just sit here and follow these people blindly. We have to do our research. We have to, Allah says that He left us in the Quran. He says that He left us signs in the horizons and within ourselves. And then you have terms like as above, so below, right? What does this mean? As above, so below. What's in space? What's in the universe is within us. You know, the Christians say something about how the temple of God is actually the body, the brain, the human brain, and then you study the chakra systems. It's like a Buddhist, or if you want to get into the mystics, study the chakra system. What's the highest form of the chakra? It's the conscious chakra, which is the indigo, or you can go above that, but our seven chakras is our crown chakra. It's our purple. I did a video on that with Chris Brown's album about being an indigo child. That's why he had the cover of his album. He's an indigo. He's got purple hair with a purple light around him, and all the demons and everything of the universe is around him. That's what that means. But this is a lot of deep stuff, people, and I had to split this video in two parts because my phone messed up. It doesn't have a lot of space, so I'm gonna be posting these in two parts. This is the second part. Um, but it's very important that we do our research. So this is about electromagnetic beings and how man his sperm is very important, and it's the actual souls that are from the Van Allen belt that either get reincarnated or incarnated into this life, and this is how and then the women are the portals. You know, um, Speaking of electromagnetic energy, I'll do another video on it, talking about the Van Allen belt, what it means as far as us being electromagnetic beings, and how I will prove that reincarnation is real. Once you study this stuff and you find out what we're made of, who we are deep down, study the cells, go down deep, just dive deep into like what we are, who we are. There's a science behind this, and the science actually proves the spiritual. And a lot of people don't realize this, and it shocks me that most of the science community are atheists or don't believe in some higher power or higher God. They're searching the cosmos for all these things, but then they realize like there's nothing, or that we're our own gods. And it's just like it's a terrible way to look at it. I don't care if humanity gets so far advanced to the point where we can fly by using our minds and everything. Yada yada yada. That doesn't make us gods. The true Creator gave us the ability to do so. You know what I mean? So even if we were to get to that point where literally all of civilization in this universe was just one giant floating ball of light, because we got that enlightened to the point where like we were just you know so smart that all we needed to function on was light itself. You know what I mean? Because basically that's all we need to do, which is the sun. I mean, it's there. That's literally what we need to do. So the sun gives us life. But what I'm saying is, let's say we got that advanced as a civilization, humanity. That is still not the creator. That is still not even close to what we think is the creator. You understand that? The ability for us to get so advanced. Because think about it, like, let's say 2,000 years ago, nobody would have imagined driving around in a car like this. You know what I mean? Or having a phone to talk through, or having technology like the way we have it now. But here we are, right? And it's something that I'm talking about right now, but 2,000 years from now, it may be a reality. And but that doesn't mean that humanity or individual people are gods themselves. I don't know why people think that somehow we can become gods. No, that doesn't make us God. Just because we experience or we learn about a certain science that may advance us spiritually doesn't make us God, or that doesn't mean that thing itself is God. God is outside of everything that we are able to perceive, and you have to understand that. I don't know, la ilaha illallah. That's all I gotta say. And if you're a Muslim and you're listening to this, the don't think for one second that Islam. I'm not saying Quran. I'm saying Islam. Don't think for one second that Islam hasn't been infiltrated. Do not think for one second. So you got to do your research. You got to study the Book of Allah. You got to listen to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and follow his Sunnah. And just you can only know what that stuff is by what's consistent with reality. You know, so somebody can shoot, or somebody can give you some information. You can listen to Nam and Ali Khan. You can listen to Mufti Menk all you want, but are they teaching you to be spiritual? Are they teaching you to eat your fruits and vegetables? Are they teaching you to get back into nature, sit in the sun? Are they teaching you that what Allah means by the science and the spiritual behind what He says when He's giving us signs in the horizons and within our bodies? Are they teaching you that? If they're not teaching you that, if they're just talking about practical Islam, why you need to pray, why they think you need to pray, or why they think you need to do this as a human being. It's all good for this world, for this three-dimensional paradigm, but for your spirit, for your soul, they're not trying to help you save your soul. I'm sorry, they don't have the knowledge that's necessary for mankind. It's beautiful to have for the practical, for the physical side of things, and for the intellectual side of things and the psychological side of things. But at the same time, it's not really helping you, and you're only falling into somebody else's trap of how they think Islam should be for the world. You know what I mean? So be careful. I'm not saying they're not credible people. They are. I do listen to them. Very insightful, very knowledgeable people. But you guys got to watch out. To my Muslims out there. And I say this because I had a friend recently. I'm not gonna disclose anything, but I had a friend recently tell me that I was going to extremes. And it's just like it's always those people who think you're going to extremes that end up being the ones who need to be going to those extremes in order to these are the type of people. I'm not saying my friend is, but these are the type of people that say Islam needs a reformation. You know what that means? To reform. Re means again, form. So you're going to form your own version. You're going to reform Islam. You're going to reform the religion of God, of the Creator. And I know for you all that's out there that think religion is such a bad word, it's not a bad word. I'm not talking about dogma. I'm talking about, I'm not talking about, people submitting to what other men and societies and the elite have written for, historically. I'm talking about religion, a way of life. And if you think it's just so simple that you're gonna buy your way into paradise by sitting here, doing bullshit and excuse my French, but doing all these things to follow this world, but at the same time you want to preach Islam and only do the bare minimum, and you got another thing coming. You guys need to wake up and start doing the spiritual aspect also. And it all ties in. Yes, the physical ties in with the spiritual. I'm not saying don't pray. I'm not saying do all these things. I'm saying understand why you pray. So you can do it all day. But then if you get to the day of judgment and you realize, oh, I was just praying because you told me to, not because I actually understood why it was important for me, because that's why Allah tells us He's not the one who needs us to pray. We're praying for ourselves. You have to understand why. So just it's important to know these things. So I just like to give these examples because people need to wake up. So yeah, electromagnetic beings, that's what we are. Look it up. Look up the makeup of a human being. Look up what's surrounding the earth, which is called the Van Allen belt. I'll make a video on that soon. So this is the guided one. This is the chosen one, guided one. I'm out.